Today, Pam is going to the hairdresser, an activity most women look forward to. But for Pam, it has been filled with fear.
I've been going to the hairdresser in Boston for probably 12 years, and I'm still scared to go in and talk to this man. The day before I go, I try to think of interesting things to talk about, so that when I go in and start talking to him, I feel like I have something interesting to say. And the day of the event, I'm a basket case. And it's nothing this man has done. For some reason, he makes me nervous.
As Pam and her boyfriend Mike approach Boston, she waits for the inevitable hit of anxiety to take over her day.
Now this is interesting. Usually by this time I like start shaking.
Is
This
it like
point
a
on the
certain
highway.
time in the drive?
Well, yeah, because as we get closer to the city, I start getting nervous.
Are you nervous yet?
Well, a little, but not like usual. I think I'm getting better. Usually when we get to this point on the bridge, my heart would start pounding, I'd start breathing really quickly, and my legs feel like absolute jelly.
Really?
Yep.
And it's not happening now?
No, it's
Oh,
not.
that's cool.
I mean, I'm a little nervous, but not, you know.
See ya.
See you in a little while.
Pam and her hairdresser, Alan, have talked and laughed during their appointments for years. In all that time, Pam never let on that inside she was filled with anxiety. But today, their banter is surprisingly comfortable, and her laughter is real.
Oh, it feels great. Because I love to come in here.
She loves it.
This is the first time actually in about 12 years since I've started coming to the salon that I've actually really enjoyed being with him, as opposed to thinking of myself being nervous. It's a great feeling.
A lot of people would never allow themselves to be filmed while in their mind they look the worst that they can possibly look. But Pam's so comfortable with herself.
You might be surprised about that. If I can let myself be interviewed getting my hair done like this, I think I can do anything. Oh, I love the color. That was nice.
Yeah.
It's
How'd you
good.
feel?
I felt pretty good, actually. I didn't feel as nervous. And they filmed everything, the hair color.
Were you embarrassed?
A little, no, not really. I think it must be the medication must be starting to kick in or something.
2 months later, Pam's feeling even better.
I'm doing much better since the last time I saw you. I feel like I have a sense of my confidence back. I'm able to talk to people now where I couldn't before. Going to a party at one point would really make me very nervous, and I would cancel more likely than go to the party. I'm much better with that. I can talk to people, even strangers. Yeah, I get up. I do get up early. I have a long way to go, and I have my ups and downs. There are weeks when I feel myself getting back into that spiral again. Oh, you're bad, bad, bad. But you just pull yourself out, get your medication, go to the therapist, and you just feel much better. You can be friends with people. You can be social. You don't have to hide in your house or hide from social activities or hide from work. There is a way to get past this. It's liberating.
Toilets, the bus, the motorhome.
It's been almost a year since Kayla started taking medication for her selective mutism.
Kayla started on medication shortly after you were here, and the medication has helped her tremendously. At home here, she became much more adventurous.
Going to the top.
She would climb trees, hang upside down or swing sets, and just became like a little monkey, which was something we never really saw in our child before. We didn't realize how truly inhibited she was just in everyday life. before she started on the medication. I mean, it's just amazing to see what she can do now versus what she couldn't before.
But the biggest change in Kayla comes out at school.
Okay, hold on. Okay, me and Abby will give them to you. Okay, and then we do it, how to do it.
In the classroom, Kayla has just really become a different child. Her body language is so different. She seems so completely more relaxed than she ever has been, ever in the last few years of school. She interacts so much more with the kids and, you know, speaks with them now in small groups, doesn't have to whisper.
Are you done? No. So good.
Although Kayla's come a long way in a year, there's still some areas that she needs to continue working on.
Where can we find Jumbo Burger?
Like interacting with her teacher.
Kayla, do you want to point to the Jumbo Burger? Sometimes she'll just nod yes and no. How much is it? Sometimes she'll say something, but it's usually just 1 or 2 sentences. And then other times she won't say anything and she'll whisper in her friend's ear. And her friend will tell me, you know, the answer.
On Christmas morning, Sarah runs to her stocking.
Okay.
To help Kayla feel more comfortable with her teacher, her parents make tapes of Kayla reading at home that she shares with her teacher after school.
On Christmas Eve, Sarah looks out her window. She makes a wish.
By doing this, they hope to eventually ease Kayla into speaking with her teacher during class.
Hopefully by next year we can get her talking out loud to the teacher and participating in class verbally in front of everybody. We'd be extremely happy. And I think that's realistic. Whether it happens in a year or not, I don't know, but she's certainly on her way there.
Kayla is always going to have a shy disposition about her. She's never going to be able to walk into a classroom and yell, "Hey, I'm here." But just to have her being able to interact and speak freely with everybody, really, would just be a great accomplishment for her. And if she can't do it, you know what? We'll still love her the same.
I found out about 5 years ago, I don't know, I was about 27, when I first found out there was a name behind it. I just was shopping in the bookstore and found a book called The Anxiety and Phobia Workbook, and it described my symptoms exactly. And then I started practicing some of the things that they recommended, learning what was happening to my body, learning how to control those bodily symptoms, and then also dealing with some of the mental thoughts that were going through my head and contradicting those thoughts.
Once Chris started combining medication with his therapy, he began to notice a change.
I didn't see any results for about 6 weeks, but after 6 weeks, all of a sudden I had this big meeting, and it was with the top 2 people in the company. Now I never have a meeting with those 2, so it was like, what do these guys want? And so I go to the meeting, and I just couldn't believe. I mean, I did not feel nervous at all. At that point, that's where I knew that the medication was working for me. And I've been on it for about a year now, and I'm hoping within the next 6 months, I'm going to try to slowly get myself off of it and try to pick up on some of the therapy a little bit more.
For many socially anxious people, like Chris, getting better means knocking down the walls of loneliness around them.
When I first decided to ask Shirley to marry me, I wanted to do something different, something original. I was talking to my sister, and she thought it might be neat if I made a big sign on the building across from my apartment. So I thought, oh, that's a great idea. So I ended up making this big sign. I think it was about 30 feet. I went over to the building across the street from where my apartment was at. I went up there and started putting the sign together, and I had my sister and her husband across the way in my apartment. They were filming me and telling me if the sign was, it wasn't crooked, make sure it was straight.
Oh God, Chris.
They were scared I was gonna fall off the edge.
Oh, this is so scary.
Finally, I got it out there, went and picked up Shirley, brought her over to my apartment. I pointed out the sign, and she was like, oh, that's not for me, is it? And then I got down on my knee and asked her, and she said yes. Looking back, I never thought I would have the opportunity to get married or find a relationship like this. Just feels really good to be able to overcome this and get to this point.
I've come a long ways. It's kind of a, just a little bit a day-to-day progression. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be times where you feel like, wow, I'm making great progress. But then there's also times where you have setbacks and you feel like withdrawing again. For me, that's been important to realize that, okay, it's not just a total, linear progression upwards in terms of recovery. And the fact that I still struggle with it, I don't think in any way negates the progress that I've made or the progress that is possible that I still may make in the future.
While there's no cure for social anxiety disorder, treatment can make a difference.
What does that mean? They'll still have anxiety. They may still have more anxiety than, Joe Schmo next door who doesn't have a problem with social anxiety. But they have a very good chance of starting in a positive way along the road to doing those things that they haven't been doing, to doing it with a great deal less anxiety than they started with. And that's a huge step forward.
And I think I really
As Barb continues to get better, she hopes to help others in the process. She and her husband Greg have written a book, Painfully Shy, which gives patients information on how to cope with the disorder.
Greg is like the best thing that's ever happened to me, and we are a team. I feel like he saved my life, and getting married to me is kind of symbolic of the loneliness being over. I want people to know that there is hope and that don't give up. I mean, if I had known I was going to meet Greg, when I was a teenager, I would have okay, I'll just cruise through the next 10 years. But you don't know that ahead of time. And I mean, there's so many times where I thought, okay, I want to kill myself because I'm so miserable. And what if I had? I wouldn't have met Greg, or I wouldn't have had Jesse.
One of the things that strikes me is that there's all this lost potential in a group of people who tend to be our most sensitive and often our most caring. So it's like those are the people we need to get out.
Going to the top.
No two paths to recovery are the same. Each patient must find his or her own way to overcome anxiety and fear.
I feel pretty good, actually.
But for those who have spent their lives being afraid of people, there's no greater feeling than knowing you don't have to feel afraid anymore. I suffered from social anxiety disorder for quite a few years. And since my treatment, since I'm able to alleviate that problem from my life, life is so much more enjoyable now. You don't have to worry about what people are saying about you. You don't have to worry about what people are thinking. You don't have to second guess what you're going to say or do in public and think somebody's going to laugh at you, because you can just be yourself and enjoy life. May is Mental Health Month, and you can receive a free screening on National Anxiety Disorders Screening Day. For more information, call toll-free 888-442-2022.
This program was brought to you by Freedom from Fear, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping people who suffer from anxieties and depression.